Society encourages us to make the largest structural investment of our lives, a 50-year commitment to another human being based on a 12 to 18-month window of intense emotion. This graph maps the timeline of early romance. Biologically, a new relationship floods your brain with a cocktail of dopamine and oxytocin. This neurochemical fog peaks early, actively working against your logical reasoning, exactly when your requirement for objective compatibility over a 50-year timeline is climbing. Zooming in on that initial window, the intense chemistry creates an artificial sense of compatibility. The brain naturally magnifies a partner's better traits while completely minimizing or ignoring glaring flaws. You are faced with a biological problem. You have to objectively evaluate someone's character, maturity, and compatibility, while your own instincts are waging war against your rational judgment. Culturally, this leads to the myth of the soulmate, the idea that there is exactly one perfect person out there who will magically complete you. In reality, you need a soulmate, someone willing to walk out the daily, shoe-leather application of sacrifice, service, and forgiveness. Building a resilient partnership requires stepping out of the romantic illusion and intentionally subjecting the relationship to a rigorous, objective vetting process. Sustained romance is too thin a foundation for marriage. You need a spiritual friendship built on a shared kingdom mission. As C.S. Lewis observed, erotic love is often pictured as two people absorbed in looking at each other. Friendship, however, is two people standing side by side, looking ahead at a shared objective vision. For a Christian couple, that shared horizon is seeking God's kingdom. It is a unified team pushing and provoking each other toward the glorious person God is creating them to be. Vetting a partner is like looking at a raw block of marble. You aren't looking for a flawless, finished statue. You look at their flaws and get excited to help chip away the excess to reveal the masterpiece underneath. If seeing your partner's deepest weaknesses makes your first instinct to run away, the relationship has not evolved into the spiritual friendship required for the long haul. To maintain the mental clarity required for this vetting, you have to make a strict trade-off, maintaining physical boundaries during dating. A healthy dating process acts like a steam pipe. As relational pressure builds, the cracks, like communication deficits, family of origin issues, or a quick temper, are naturally exposed so they can be addressed. Engaging in premature sexual intimacy releases that pressure physically, instead of dealing with it emotionally. It acts as an artificial cement, masking serious deficits and blinding you to the red flags. This matrix illustrates how to evaluate a partner's true character. You have to deliberately ignore the left column, the minors, which include physical appearance, body type, career, and hobbies, so you can rigorously test for the majors on the right, like deep humility, a capacity for forgiveness, and healthy conflict resolution. If superficial traits become your primary focus, you risk developing a flaw-o-matic, an inner voice that instantly rejects a perfectly good partner over minor, fixable issues. Instead, your attention needs to expand to one defining major trait, whether they operate as a giver or a taker. A taker might do nice things for you, but they almost always negotiate their actions for personal return. A giver delights in selfless service simply because it brings joy to their partner. Physical beauty and strength are short-lived servants for a 50-year marriage. You must anchor your future to a character built to survive life's inevitable challenges. Evaluating a relationship based solely on how two people interact in private is dangerous. During the infatuation stage, everyone presents a flawless, manicure image. To truly understand a person's motivations, you need to get outside the relationship and sprinkle your dates with impromptu interviews. By putting yourselves into family environments, ministry work, or even stressful scenarios, you force genuine reactions to surface. Pay close attention to the waitstaff test. Watch how they handle minor dating hiccups and observe how they treat invisible people, the restaurant servers or strangers from whom they have nothing to gain. Because infatuation naturally blinds you, you must give the objective eyes of your community veto power over your relationship. Grant 3 mature, godly friends the authority to critique your dynamic and listen closely to their warnings. The relationship moves past superficial romance once you successfully navigate a cycle of sharp conflict, repentance, and true forgiveness. Couples who never fight haven't been tested, and those who repeat the same unresolved arguments haven't learned how to forgive. Passing these external audits strips away the illusion of isolation and reveals actual, lasting resilience. Sharing a spiritual mission is the bedrock of marriage, but love and spiritual compatibility alone cannot bridge massive gaps in your practical life goals. This blueprint alignment checklist requires you to honestly evaluate 4 critical areas, starting with career tracks. Your spouse will have enormous veto power over where you live and what you do, and you must acknowledge what will happen if 2 strong career ambitions pull you in opposite directions. Next, look at the geography and parenting structures. You must decide where you will absolutely never agree to live. If one partner dreams of a rural farmhouse and the other requires a major city skyline, those visions are in direct conflict. Then come the critical logistical questions. Who is going to raise the children? You must openly discuss what arrangements, whether it's utilizing full-time daycare, hiring a nanny, or having one parent stay home, are completely unacceptable to you. If 2 builders try to construct entirely different houses on the same foundation, the structure will eventually collapse. If your practical visions for life do not align in areas that matter, stepping away is the most courageous and loving thing you can do. This chart maps relationship readiness based on 2 axes: your degree of shared spiritual mission on the horizontal axis and your practical blueprint alignment on the vertical. If you land in the bottom left quadrant, lacking both a shared mission and logistical alignment, you are likely chasing the soulmate myth. Expecting another human to perfectly complete you is demanding they do a job only God was meant to do. If you fall into the mixed quadrants, perhaps you share a faith but have completely conflicting visions for your daily life, you need to step out of the neurochemical fog and acknowledge the fatal misalignment. But if your partner passes the external community veto, shares your kingdom mission, and your practical blueprints align, you land in the top right. You have found a deeply secure investment. Sustaining a marriage through decades of ordinary life depends on an unshakable commitment to your partner's holiness and growth. Following this rigorous vetting process can turn 2 people into a couple saint, a unified team of 2 givers whose marriage geometrically increases their capacity to deeply love and serve others. Biblical marriage is a daily, rigorous policy of sacrifice. You actively choose to build an eternally significant life together.